Ladies and gentlemen, what you gonna do, brother? Oh yeah! Woo! What? If you smell what the rock. You got the wrong guy. I'm the dude, man.
Welcome to another edition of Around the Turnbuckle. My name is the Big Albowski. His name is Professor Keith, as always. And conspicuous by her absence is Vicky, and she will be here momentarily, running a couple minutes late. She will be here, I guarantee it. Don't adjust your sets. Don't leave us. Vivacious Vicious Vicki will be here momentarily. But in the meantime, let's pay some bills.
Let's pay them.
First off, we already got comments coming in, right? Brett Brown, what's up, Brett? Courtney, always here as always. Love you, Courtney. Thank you for joining us. And like I said, Vicky will be here momentarily. So don't adjust your sets, kids. Vicky will be here pretty soon. In the meantime,
Suffer through us for now.
In the meantime, attention, Around the Turnbuckle fans. In January 2021, we'll be joining our fellow podcasters, TJ, Chrissy, Ciphered Knowledge, Spitting with Spitter, Home Team Sports. We're all going to go to YouTube in January. So if you haven't already, go to 2M1L Media over there on YouTube and subscribe to our channel, and you will get all our content. Hit that notification bell. You'll instantly get know when we go live, all that good stuff.
Make sure you hit all on the notifications and smash that like button. Smash it.
So Vicky will be with us momentarily if you've just joined me. Also, do not forget that this Tuesday on Home Team Sports is our drawing for the jersey. So if you have your name in, you want to tune into that one. And if you don't, you have 5 more chances. We're going to have 5 questions on Home Team Sports, and we will give you 5 extra chances at the end there to win a jersey of your choice from any sport. You like basketball, hockey, football, baseball, whatever you guys want. Checking in, Greg Winters. What's up, Greg? Thundercat in the house. Miss you guys. All is well, sir. Thank you very much. Chris Vant, who if I was a betting man, Chris Vant is probably going to win a jersey on Tuesday because Chris Vant's got like 10 fucking spots. Just saying. Joe Dudley, what's up, guys? Of course, if you guys are all chiming in looking for Vicky, she will be here very, very shortly. She has a family function going on right now, and she will be with us momentarily. She's been texting me all day, so she's ready, and she will be with us momentarily. So don't you dare go anywhere. Vicky will be with us momentarily. Don't forget our other programs as well. Other than Home Team Sports, we also have this Sunday, Keith, on Ciphered Knowledge with Chrissy, your friend and mine, motivational speaker Irvin Legend.
Yes.
Remember that guy?
Love that guy.
Love that guy. We love Irvin Legend. He will be Chrissy's host or Chrissy's guest on Ciphered Knowledge. Also tomorrow night.
But knowing Irvin, though, he may try to wind up hosting that show before it's over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I hope Chrissy's ready for that. I hope Chrissy's ready for Irvin Legend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he just comes on the program and he just his mere presence just takes over. It just takes over. But like, you know, like that's just the way it is. And Shango's like that too, right? Shango kind of comes on and he kind of, you know, takes up the whole room and, you know.
That's why I say those two ever get together, it could almost be like a Rock Hogan. You're just the presence, just the stare down is going to be something amazing. They don't even have to touch each other and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, so, you know, all you bookers out there, especially in the Pennsylvania or Lehigh Valley area, you haven't booked this match yet. You're crazy because there is a lot of animosity. There's a lot of electricity between between Urban Legend and whoa, and here is JT Funk. JT Funk, Shango ain't shit. Well,
I know. You want your spot in line too, JT. We're trying.
Yeah, and JT's out there traveling. JT flew down to Florida yesterday or today. He's down in Florida. How's the weather down there? All I gotta ask.
Here, you lucky bastard.
I know we had about like 14 inches of snow where I'm at, and like I said, in case you guys have just joined us and are looking for the Vivacious Vicious Vicki, she will be with us momentarily. So bear with us. Keith, how you feeling tonight, man? I've done talked enough.
I'm all right. I'm excited to get Vicky on here. I really am. I'm excited about this one. Huh?
And why is that?
I've become such a fan researching her. I love her work. I think she's got a great, inspiring story. I'm excited to get that out there and to share that with our audience.
The weather is amazing. I'm moving here next year. You just made me start to cry. Like literally, I got tears in my eyes. That he's leaving us, Keith. He's going down to Florida.
He says that, but we'll see.
Well, you know what's down in Florida? The WWE.
Look, I was just gonna say, one day JT has got to move away from you to get to that next step in his career. You know, you're just gonna have to deal with this as part of your man crush.
So, all right, Vicky is ready. Vicky is coming.
Excellent.
Just got to get her backstage, and she will be with us. In case you guys just joined us, Vicky will be here momentarily. But like I said, don't forget to go over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel, 2M1L Media, and you will always be. Oh, Keith, look at that. He's such a. You know what I mean, Keith? He just booked our entire January and February with guests.
He did. I mean, I all kidding aside, JT is just one of those guys. I mean, there's a few people. You know, I love all of our guests. I do.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some people that just we've bonded with. I feel like beyond just the show, just they came on to promote something or whatever. Just really good people have come into our path doing this, and JT is without a doubt one of those really good people that just deserves good things to happen for him, because he didn't have to do the stuff he's done for us. He doesn't have to do any of that stuff, and he does it. I mean, just a wonderful guy that deserves all blessings.
And Joe Dudley, I couldn't say that better. He's setting himself up for WWE. Abso-freaking-lutely. He is goal-driven. He is young. He is talented. And he can go wherever he wants to go.
It's the old Steve Austin thing. If you're not in the business to win the world title and to be the top guy, what are you doing here?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, our guest will be joining us momentarily. Talk about goal-driven, Keith. Talk about young and goal-driven. This girl is very goal-driven. Hey, what's up, Morgan? Thanks for joining us as usual. Morgan, you guys are always here. Our regulars are here and they're waiting for Vicky. Vicky's coming momentarily, like I said. JT Funk, just keep putting out amazing content. I got your back. So thanks for supporting me as always.
Mm-hmm.
Always. I sent the man, Keith. I sent the man a T-shirt. I sent the man an Around the Turnbuckle T-shirt, and all I want is a selfie when he gets it. That's all I want. Glad the snowstorm wasn't so bad. I can send you some Myrtle Beach. No, I'd rather not, Chris Van. No, thank you very much. Yeah. Good show. Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. We try. And like I said, it runs a lot smoother, more times than not, but it was a thrill, Keith. It was a thrill. And here we go. You're ready.
All right.
Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, our guest is backstage at this moment. She is the TCW Goddess Award champion, the Garden State Goddess. Certified personal trainer, Keith.
Mm-hmm.
The Vivacious Vicious Vicki.
Yay. Thank you for an amazing introduction. I have to say that was one of the best.
Thank you.
It was my pleasure, and it is our pleasure to have you on here. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there, got some things going on, but other than that, everything's good, can't complain. So thank you for having me as well. I appreciate it.
Now, I have a big Italian family on my father's side. We do a lot, right? We do a lot of big things. And whether you might not know this or not, but Keith and I, by the way, this is Professor Keith.
Hello.
Keith, Vicky. We are both Jersey boys.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
okay. So a Jersey Italian, you get it.
Absolutely. So so family, like I said, when you were saying, oh, we got a family function going on here, I'm like, okay. I know about that.
Yep, you get it.
Oh, we got Keith, we got Chance already. We got Vicky Chance going already.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. So Vicky, I'm gonna let my co-host start the questioning because he's been researching you and he just went head over heels about your work ethic, about your we spent the whole entire pre-show just talking about like everything that you've been doing in the past couple of years. And my God, I'll let him get started. We're not going to ask you the same old questions right away, but we're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about your career and where you're going and where you are right now. But I mean, my God, you want to get started there, bud?
Yeah, I mean, I usually do my research the day of so I can have everything fresh. Thanks for checking in, Tony, Shango. And I watched, I think, 3 of your matches, and for match 1, I was just in love because and I don't mean that in a like, oh, just because she's a pretty girl. Like, you are such an excellent wrestler.
Thank you.
You totally understand the fundamentals. One of the things I love, and I get crap from his son all the time, but he's young, he doesn't know any better. Like, you're doing collar and elbow tie-ups, and I love that. You know how to tell a story in the ring. You know to start slow, build it up. You've got a great bulldog out of the corner. I mean, your facials are great. You understand character. You understand presentation, and just. I fell in love. I'm such a fan now. And I also checked out your interview on Sass's Corner, and that just made me even more what an inspiring story you have. Yeah. And I'm so glad that you're willing to stop in with us and share that story with us.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's been a long road for me, but I appreciate that. Very, very kind words and whatnot. So that's always appreciated, But yeah, no, it was a bumpy road for sure to get here. So
yeah, so I mean, let's talk about that a little bit. You said that you came into wrestling kind of how I came into wrestling. At first I didn't really watch it too much or care about it too much. My brother watched it. I was kind of like, eh. And then, you see that one personality or that one angle or that one thing that kind of draws you in. What kind of was that for you? Like, what performers started you down the road of going, hey, this is something I should pay attention to?
Yeah, so I was like really, really young. I was like 4 or 5 and my sisters were watching it. And my sisters were like huge diehard fans. Like, that's all they watched. They kept up with the times. Like, they were huge fans. And for me, I remember vividly, I always say this, but it's the truth. I have like a very like sharp memory. Like, I remember being a kid. I really do. And I remember being like 4 or 5, and it was the beer truck incident with Stone Cold. It was on TV. And I remember like watching, and I was like sucked into that. I was like, what is this? Like, who are these people? And I remember just being glued to the TV. And ever since then, like, I just weekly, I kept up with it. And over time, my sisters kind of like faded from it, where me, it was just, I just knew. I remember thinking like at a very young age, I always tell this story because it's funny. I was like 5 or 6, and me and my sister were like wrestling around in our room, and I went to give her like an elbow drop, and there was like this hook that came out of like the like frame of the door for whatever reason. It was by our bed kind of. and it went right in my armpit, and I had to go to the hospital. Like this
Ow.
big thing. I still have the scar. Like it was so funny. But yeah, so and then as I got a little older, maybe like 2 or 3 years into watching wrestling, I was like 7, and Lita came out and burst out onto the scene, and that was it. Like that was when I was just like, I could do this. And even though like I already kind of had that feeling that I wanted to, like I wanted to be in the TV at the time, I essentially wanted to. I want to be in there. I want to do what they're doing. And then when she came out, that was it. Like I fell in. You want to talk about falling in love? Jesus, I literally fell in love with her. Like everything about her, I just everything. I mean, I was like, she's awesome. And from there, it was just a lifelong dream. So I would have to say
That's wonderful.
Yep.
So, where and when did you start training?
So, oh boy, it took me again. I'm sure we'll get there at some point, but it took me a while to finally start training. I did a few youth clinics when I was younger, maybe like 11 or 12. At Independent Wrestling Federation. It used to be in West Willow, maybe near Willowbrook or Wayne or something like that. I actually West Patterson. And then life showed up throughout high school and whatever. I didn't continue, which I obviously regret, even though life's good. But and then a few years ago, Halloween of 2018, I joined Create a Pro, Wrestle Pro, in Rahway. And from there it was like with everything that kind of led me to that point, it was kind of like a aha moment where I was like, oh, I finally made it. And I was just training. Like I was just training, learning how to take bumps, run the ropes, and it did come very natural to me. It obviously there was like little things I needed to learn here and there, but I've been backyard wrestling since I was 4. I've been, doing all these different things, cutting promos. Here's Bailey. She always has to make it about her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cutting promos, like literally, like looking in the mirror as a young girl, just doing all that. So when I trained, it was like it all came pretty naturally to me. I picked it up really, really fast. I would say about 4 months in, they threw me out there, like on a big Rahway show. I didn't have a singles match, but they threw me as being a valet. So it all happened fast for me, but it's all been worth it. So.
Yeah, I would say so, because that was one of the things I was shocked about looking at your interview, is that you've only been doing this for a couple of years, and yet as polished and everything as you are, it looks like you've been doing it far longer, and you actually got an invite last year down to Florida to the WWE Performance Center.
Yep.
Can you tell us what that experience was like?
Yeah, so when I was about 8 months in, my then boyfriend, he Nikos Rikos was my boyfriend, as real life boyfriend. I managed him for quite a while. That's where like I got my start and whatnot. So I'm always grateful to him for, giving me that little push and, publicity and whatnot. But when he went and did extra work in June of that year, and I was like, he was like, give it a shot, reach out, like give it a shot. So I did for NXT at first. And they, my trainers were Pat Buck, Kevin Matthews, Mo Bokara, Danny Moff, Sean Donovan. So like they were like known names, obviously Pat Buck producer now. So they had messaged me back when I sent my stuff in. They said, do they think your trainer thinks you're ready to, come to NXT for a potential tryout match? Obviously we know that people get thrown into those. He actually had one himself. So I was like, yes. Like probably not. And my trainer was honest with me. He goes, I don't think you're ready for that. He goes, he's like, not that I don't think you can. He's like, I just don't want you to make a fool of yourself and ruin your chances of going back. Luckily, when I went, my trainer already told me, go. He said, definitely go. Don't pull out. So I went, and he was really proud of me too. They were all proud of me for going out there, and I didn't do anything. I was just an extra. So I flew out to Full Sail, and that was my first time. 8 months in the business. 8 months in the business, and
Crazy.
that's not even counting my matches. And I'm walking around Full Sail like, what? And I tried to, always remain professional, kept it together. I was definitely taught from the best, so I know how to be professional at all times. But I'm like 8 months in, I'm sitting in NXT, like watching how they're doing production and everything, and I'm like, what is my life? It was incredible. And then shortly after that, when I got the email for the tryout, it was like 2 months later. So you figure I went out there in August. So you figure September, October, late October, early November, I got the email. So it was very shortly after that. And nobody did it for me. I remember like people were asking me like, what did you do? And I'm like, I just applied. I don't know. Like no one pulled any strings, nothing. And I don't say that to, because my head's huge, because I'm honestly the most humble person you'll meet. But I say that because it's like, it's amazing. It's really amazing that somebody with 10 months in the business didn't have to do anything or do anything for anybody to get that opportunity. So it was humbling. It was amazing. So I remember I was sitting at work and I got the email and it said, like you get like the network and like Shop Zone and all those emails.
Right.
So I saw WWE and I honestly just like, I just kept scrolling.
Right, they want me to buy something.
Yeah. So like 2 hours later, like my memory, because I told you I have a really sharp memory, even if I don't like see it right away. And I was honestly in the bathroom and I'm going, WWE recruit. Like it like clicked. And I'm like, wait a minute. So then I looked back and I'm like, you've been invited to the December 2019 trial. I was like, what? I was so happy. I remember I dropped to my knees crying and thanked God because I was just like, what is my life today? But man, that was an experience. Being able to, I always say it because it means so much to me, like be locked up with William Regal. I mean, like what?
Wow.
To learn from some of the best guys there. They were all amazing. Robbie Brookside was one of my favorites. He was just brilliant, outstanding. To be able to be a part of that. When I walked through the door for the first time, I'm like, I cannot believe that I'm in this building right now. Like it was like I teared up a little bit because I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. And it was intense. The first few days the first day was like a check-in, a physical and whatnot, and then the rest was like we woke up at 6:30, we had our little bit of breakfast, and then we hit the PC and we did 100 squats, 100 push-ups, all these different things before we actually started. And it was just intense. And I knew like some people in the business who had tryouts. So I asked them like, hey, like, what do you think I should do? Like, what do I expect? And they're like, cardio, 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 cardio. So I'm like, oh, fine. So I busted my ass a few weeks beforehand to make sure that I could keep up, and I did. A few people were puking, this one's stopping. I just kept going, because I was like, this is my chance. Like,
wow.
Obviously I didn't get the call, but I was number one. And I share this fact because it's a fun fact. I don't know if they go in like alphabetical order, but my last name starts with an A naturally. Right. So I was number one. I'm used to this in school. I was always the first one in the desk. Like,
that was me.
Yeah. So
that was not me. My last name starts with a W, so I'm used to the other end of the spectrum.
The best. So they gave us our little wristbands, and I had number one, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, number one, of course. So then I didn't know they were gonna like choose who goes first by the actual. I didn't know that was like the number. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
The first day, after check-ins and everything, was promos. So I'm dressed in my gear, and this was like before I had like Vivacious Vicious Vicki really down. This was when I was like valet Vicky days.
Right.
So I was still new. I was still finding myself. I didn't have it yet. So first day promos. They're like, okay, we're gonna do promos. Everybody sit over here. Blah blah blah. 5 minutes go by. Okay, we're gonna go. First up, Victoria Andriola, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you've got to be kidding me. But I did it. I nailed it. There's a little part, of course, there's a little bit of regret. There's a little part of me that kind of regretted not doing like the Vicious Vicky promos. Instead, I went with Victoria.
Right.
Was advised of me to do. But even though it was me and I was sharing my story within a minute, which I did,
right,
it still didn't feel natural. For me, like natural is like being the Vivacious Vicious Vicki and cutting a heel promo. Like that feels natural for me. So there's a little part that regretted that. But other than that, I mean, I had to go first for everything. So we would have somebody in the ring do the drill, and then we would have to follow suit. And I said this to somebody. I was like, well, I did everything right. And they're like, well, you didn't do everything right because you didn't get signed. And I'm like, ouch. Okay. But, I followed. I know, right? Stick it where it hurts. I followed everything they said, and I left with a notebook full of knowledge and wisdom from these guys and girls. I mean, it was really amazing, and I really hope when the world is normal again that I'm invited back, because that was something I just never thought would happen. I never thought, and like all those years that I knew that if I didn't do wrestling, I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life, because that's just something I always wanted to do. And just in that moment, I was like, I'm here. Little Victoria at 7 years old, throwing up the guns, thinking she's Lita, jumping off beds and going to the hospital for stitches. Like, she's walking in the WWPC right now. So I was like, that was in that moment is when I knew that anything is possible, and I'm gonna make it. I don't care what happens. I'm going to make it one way or another. So, yeah. Whew.
And that was one of the things that I told you this already through text messaging is that I admire your work ethic. Extremely driven, extremely like you see your goal, you want it, and you're going to make it happen. And Keith and I agree. There is no doubt in our minds that you are going to be a star at some point, because you just won't stop until you're there.
Yeah.
I
said on the pre-show, the only way you're not making it is if you choose to just stop wrestling.
Exactly.
I have to do this real quick.
Any company that has the chance to sign you that won't, I think they're crazy.
I have to do this real quick, Vicky, because this is my daughter who has senior pictures, things like that. And she's like, she's about to turn 9. Yeah. And so she's saying hi to you, not to me. She's saying hi to you, Natalia. And Urban Legend, I don't know if you know him, but he is a mixed tag would be dope. Yeah, I guess he's trying to recruit you as a partner. But anyway, okay. Talk about
He's
that.
Another guy that's always hustling.
Talk about how you got involved with Titan Championship Wrestling and how that started.
Yeah, so Titan, I never worked for the old company that they were from. Never had any affiliation with them. Will you stop it? This is what she does when I don't pay attention to her.
Oh yeah.
I know how they are. I get a bigger one that if I'm petting him and I stop petting him, I get the growl and the look like you're the worst person.
So they reached out to me last year. The second show that they had was last year, and I was on it with Gabby Ortiz, who's another one of my close buddies, besties in wrestling. And yeah, they just reached out to me, and at the time, Nikos, we were a team essentially, like a power couple, whatever. So we did a lot of places together, and that was definitely one of the places we were brought into together. And yeah, I mean, ever since I was with them, they've been ripping and running, man. Through the pandemic and everything, a lot of promotions still ran, but they really set the bar high with everything. I mean, the guys there, Billy, Charlie, AG, like all the guys there really, really, really know what they're doing. They're amazing. They're very generous. They're humble. They're good guys. You don't find that a lot. They're not liars. They're not phony. They give what they're telling the fans they're going to give. They are fair and, appreciative of the talent as we are of them. The talent that they've had is top talent in the Northeast, 100%. A lot of the guys and girls that have been on Titan are top talent. Half of them, not half of them, but a good chunk of them have been on AEW Dark already.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So they know what they're doing. They do their homework, and there's big things in store for Titan for 2021. And I'm definitely honored to be the second ever Goddesses of War champion. So it's a big deal, man. And whoever's not watching Titan needs to keep watching those guys, because they're also always working behind the scenes as well. So.
Yeah, like the moment that we announced that we were going to have you, they got in touch with me, and I've been following them now ever since, and getting to know them, getting to know what they do.
Yeah.
And the cool part about this show, and we started this back in June as just something to do during the pandemic, a bunch of guys sitting around talking wrestling, and what we ended up doing was meeting a lot of independent wrestlers who are trying to do the same thing you're trying to do. And they're at different levels, right? And then we last week we had Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat on, and so it's all ballooning. We're making connections. We're meeting all these people.
Yeah.
But like I never in my wildest dreams thought that by the end of this year we would be where we're at right now, which is great. And you are like you said, only a couple years in, you already were down at the WWE PC. You mentioned AEW earlier. Would you be welcome to try them as well?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to anything. I obviously would always hope to end up in WWE. That's like the end all be all. But if AEW contacted me tomorrow, like I'm going. If they gave me a chance, absolutely. So it's more exposure, and AEW is a great product. So definitely open to that.
Now, lately, I saw that you've been starting to do the certified personal trainer thing. Can you talk about that? Down at the bottom of the screen, I have it scrolling along the website for Vicious Hustle Fitness. Can you talk about that?
I see that. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. Yeah. So I always had like a fitness and athletic background growing up and whatnot. But as I got older, I really wanted to like attempt to make a career out of it. And I'm newly certified, but I've trained friends and family for so long. I know how to do like proper training splits, nutrition, all that stuff. So it's not like I went into this blinded. I aced the test in like one try, so that's good. Yeah, so I decided to kind of make my own brand and branch out a little bit with having wrestling fans and wrestling people in the business who might need that. It's a good way to start. Definitely put out some merchandise. I have a Facebook, I have an Instagram, I have an actual website.
I have all that. If you want to follow Vicky, there's her Instagram, there's her Twitter, there's her YouTube, and down below is the Vicious Hustle Fitness website if you're interested in that.
Huge shout out. Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. This is what we do.
I love it.
And like I said, we've made a lot of friends so far doing this. Keith and I are thrilled. A lot of guys send us guys they think, or girls that would want to come on and tell their story. And that's all we want to hear. We want to hear everybody's stories because and I don't know, do you pay much attention to the current product, WWE, AEW?
I'm not going to lie. No. I'm a big highlight person. I watch like the highlights on YouTube and the network, and with AEW, I don't have actual cable right now. I only have I'm a big streamer, so
me too.
I'm not gonna pay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I stream a lot. AEW has a lot of content on YouTube as well, so I'm always the Dark for sure because there's always somebody I know on Dark. So I'm always watching because I'm curious and whatnot what the product is and whatnot. So yeah, I'm a big highlight person for sure. Unless there's like a pay-per-view, I'll sit down and watch a pay-per-view though.
Right. So like this Sunday TLC, will you watch TLC?
100%. Yeah.
And what do you think of the current product right now as far as WWE goes?
I think that they.
I'll leave that up there.
I think it's
honestly.
Like what?
No, honestly, how do you feel? Because I'll tell you one thing, I bet you $1 million that Professor Keith feels exactly the same way you do.
I think they're really have no idea what they're doing anymore. I think they're either running out of ideas or not the right people aren't being utilized to create the ideas.
Right.
NXT, I do like NXT.
Yes.
Because of who's running the show. So that's what you have to look at. Who's running Raw and SmackDown? Who's running NXT? What's the better product? NXT.
Right.
Yeah, I think it comes down to when you systematically try to keep wrestling people out of wrestling, you realize the results you're getting. I mean, one thing I heard about the other day, and I pointed this out because there was a group chat that this kind of grew out of, and we still have the Facebook group chat. I had heard like almost everything to do with Roman Reigns right now. Paul Heyman is doing the promo and the character and the creative, and Michael Hayes is producing the matches. And I'm like, the wrestling guys that have been doing this for years are in control of one of the top guys. And that's one of the best things on the show.
I was
how that happens.
Just going to say that. And real quick to go off that, the one thing I love about Paul Heyman being like with Roman, what someone actually brought this to my attention, and I was like, you know what? I noticed that myself. I was like, you're so right. The fact that like how Paul Heyman was with Brock, where he was like the mouthpiece and loud and cocky, and just with Roman, he's actually kind of like withdrawn because he's
Yeah.
he's almost putting over Roman so much
Right.
that
Mhm.
he's withdrawn from him as well. It's amazing. It's mind blowing. But that's Paul Heyman.
Right.
Yep.
saying so.
So,
Paul's always been great at whatever you're good at. I'm gonna make that look
Exactly.
better. Whatever you're bad at, I'm gonna hide it.
Yep.
That.
Yep.
I mean, Public Enemy made tons of money because Paul made those guys look like superstars, and nobody else could figure out that formula once they got somewhere else. But God bless them, they made a ton of money before anybody figured out, like, gee, maybe they aren't so magical after all.
Yeah. No, he's something else for sure. So I agree.
So there's a segment that we do with every guest. Some people like it, some people don't. I apologize if you don't, but but we do a dream match where and I'm right now. I'm going to tell you right now, you're not allowed to pick Lita.
Why is she not allowed to pick Lita? Just because she's such an admitted Lita mark?
Trying to make it hard for me now.
But if there was a female or male, if you really want to go that way, dream match opponent for you, who would that be and why? And when you're done, me and Keith will give our answers too.
Okay. Probably Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte's out of the newer crop of women, and I'm talking obviously the last 10 years, but out of the newer crop of women and not Hall of Famers and all that, right. I think that she's one of the best to ever do it. She's a character. She's beautiful. She's in shape. She can wrestle. She knows how to wrestle. She's got the basics down. She's a Flair. I mean, there's just so many things that are in her. Like, she is when I look at her, don't get me wrong, I love Sasha too. I think Sasha's great.
Oh yeah.
Ellie, I think all of the women honestly are great. But I look at Charlotte and I'm like, that's a superstar. That's a wrestler. And that's what I want to be. So that's why when I look at her, I'm like, yeah, I would go toe to toe with Charlotte.
You know what's cool about Charlotte is, number one, and I'm gonna tell you right now that Charlotte is my favorite, has been from day one. I've been defending her with this guy over here because she's a Flair, and she gets all her title matches because she's a Flair.
I do not do that so much. I do that stuff because you're such a mark for Charlotte, and you just are so easy to wind up with that. I just have to go, for the last name was something else. What do you mean? It's
all right. So, Charlotte, so Charlotte's a great choice, and the cool thing is the way you're going, that match might actually happen.
I hope so. That would be definitely a dream match.
That would be a thrill for us because
I think you could match up with her so well because Charlotte doesn't have people her size necessarily because she's so tall, she's so athletic. I could see you having a similar problem, although I don't see it being a problem in any of your matches that I watched. Mm-hmm. But, you're right, like being bigger. And that's why I love that you're a heel, too, because being taller, being more athletic than a lot of your opponents, it does lend itself to you being a heel because it's harder to get sympathy if you're towering over everybody.
Exactly.
It's easier to be that person that goes, nah, she's small, I'm just going to beat the crap out of her now.
Yeah.
So it would be harder for you to sell and believably get sympathy that this person that's not your height, not your size, is going to somehow be able to out-wrestle you or out-fight you.
So, Keith, who's your dream match opponent for Vicky?
Looking at Vicky's work, I immediately thought, if we could get her across the pond or we could get Vicky across the pond, Kaylee Ray. You guys could match up so well, I think.
Okay.
Because you're doing very similar things, I think. You're both that aggressive, vicious, heel girl that's just going at you. I would love to see you guys mix it up.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I've never thought of that, so that's pretty cool.
And my answer to that is Rhea Ripley.
Yes.
Ripley also would be great, yeah.
I would be.
Also, it's Rhea Allen. Say it right.
Rhea. Sorry. She popped for Rhea, though. See?
I can see why. That would be another one that just a knockdown, drag out, good fight. You're about the same size. You can mix it up.
I love that.
Either one, you could be the heel or the baby face in a situation like that. Yeah, you got a lot of options there.
Definitely. That's a good one. Okay. All right. I'll take those. Those are both good.
Thank you. All right. So I'm terrified to ask this next question because I absolutely already know the answer. Okay, but where do you see Vicky in 2 years?
Well, I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I'm just going to say signed. I definitely feel it in my gut that within the next 2 years, I'll be signed somewhere. I don't know where, I don't know when, but by 2 years, I definitely will be signed somewhere. I have so much like willpower and determination to get there. Like nothing's going to get in my way. So I'm just going to keep barreling through people until I get to where I need to be because I know that I know I can do it. And that's not cocky. That's just confidence that I've had my entire life for a dream that I'm finally living, that I finally got a taste of, all these different things. And it's like, I'm going to be signed. So, yeah.
Keith, how do you feel about that answer?
I think you're absolutely right, especially too. And I know I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I know you're pretty front street about a lot of your struggles.
Oh, yeah.
You've struggled with addiction, which I know someone that has struggled with the exact addiction
So
you
do
had,
I.
and I see how she's come through it and how she's living her life, and I just want to applaud you. And I think you're an inspiration to everyone that's in that dark place.
Yeah.
Do you mind saying what it was you were addicted to or any of
Yeah.
that?
So for me, it was it started with like the typical like pot and drinking and whatnot in high school, and it just one thing just kind of led to another, and it turned to like pills and like opiates and whatnot was like the huge addiction for sure, and then that led to heroin, that led to cocaine, and then I was doing all these different things, and over the course of like 5 years, I was just heavily addicted. Eventually, it started mainlining heroin. It was really bad. It was a dark time. Through that entire time of struggling that addiction and really knowing that I didn't want to be doing that, I didn't know how to stop. I had no idea what I was dealing with. I didn't realize that like I was going to become physically addicted when I'm a little kid, and I mean like naive teenager in high school doing like I didn't know that I was going to become that person.
Because you think you're invincible at that point.
Yeah,
It's not
of
going to get to
course.
me. That happens to other people. I'm me. I'm fine. I'm good.
I'm an athlete. I'm going to college. None of that happened, so it's like I kind of just really let it get a hold of me until one day I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I really thought I was going to be that for the rest of my life and like die like that. I was so depressed and I was in a really bad spot. And throughout that whole time, now wrestling never left my head. I was always like, I got to get clean so I can go to wrestling school. I just got to get clean so I can go, like the whole time. I'm doing what I'm doing, going like, oh my God, if I just stop, I can go to wrestling school. Like that's all I cared about, all I thought about. And then I finally was in and out of rehab about 4 times for a year's time frame. And then eventually the fourth time I went, that's my lucky number 2. The fourth time I went, that was it. I stayed, I did the program, I did sober living, I did meetings, I did all these different things I had to do, and I never looked back. And I won't. I'm one of those that like I've seen so many people in my circle, people that I know who have gone back out again or relapsed after years, and me, I'm just like, I don't want anything to do with that. That's not me. That's not who I was growing up. It's not the kind of life I want to live. Now I'm in my present. Now I'm where I am. And I truly believe that people go through things to help other people. There was obviously somebody who put their hand out to me to help me get to where I am today. So now I'm that person who's doing a lot more with myself to put myself out on platforms so people can be like, hey, she's a pro wrestler. Hey, she was an addict. Or hey, she was mentally abused. Or hey, she was sexually assaulted. Or hey, I just put everything out there because some people just don't want to share it. And I'm at a point where I've gone through a lot of my issues. Don't get me wrong. Things still hit me from time to time. Sure. Mentally, I struggle. Sure. It's how you get out of it, how you deal with it. But for me to be able to put all that out there isn't a woe is me kind of thing, because I'm sitting here going, oh, my life sucks. Look what happened to me. No. I share all this because it's like, hey, listen, buddy, listen, chick, like you've been through that. I do too. Reach out to me. Here's a resource I use. Here's what I did. I overcame it. So I'm very open because I know that it will help somebody else. Maybe not everybody, and I know that, but there's going to be somebody out there who's going to get something from it and then run with it, and they're going to be able to do the same thing. And that's how people get better. Seeing is believing. It really is. So, yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because I do hope that if there's somebody in our audience that's struggling, with addiction or struggling with anything, that they can hear you, they can see you, they can see how well you're doing.
Be inspired.
And that's right. They'll be inspired, and that's the spark to start their recovery, because it's a struggle, and it's a struggle every day. I'm sure you're still struggling. You know, you've got wrestling, you've got a great situation going on, but I'm sure you're still struggling, especially in your darker moments. That little voice, that little demon is probably still there trying to tempt you back to things you know you're not supposed to do. And it speaks volumes of you that you can keep telling that demon to shut up and not get off your path.
Yep, I flip it off all the time. I'm like, get the hell out of here.
Yep. Yep. And I just wanted to make sure we shared that with the audience, because that's what I love about doing this, is being able to hopefully give something back to other people.
Yep.
Absolutely.
5 years. 5 years.
Good for you. Good for you. Keep it going.
Yep.
Vicky, you're an inspiration.
Thank you.
I think that you are honestly heading to stardom. We're going to be a blip on the radar for where you're heading, and I'm just absolutely thrilled. Your story is inspiring, and I'm sure Keith agrees with me when we wish you the absolute best in whatever you do, because whatever you're going to do, whatever you end up doing in life, it's going to be to the max. I can just tell. And that match between you and Charlotte, if I have anything to do with it, I'm going to be damn near ringside. I'm going to be as close to ringside as I possibly can for that match, because that's what I miss most of all about professional wrestling. Is I used to go to a lot of events and live events, and COVID has slowed things down, and it's just it sucks. But we got to get in. We got to get through it. We got to go to 2021. The vaccine is starting to come out now. Maybe, and I love going to sporting events too. Oh, by the way, before I got two more questions.
Go ahead.
The first question is, do you like sports?
I do.
Are you a fan of a certain team?
Giants and Yankees. And
all right, I'll take that. I'll take half of that. I'm a big Yankee fan myself.
Yeah,
yes, he is. Yes, he is. I was hoping you'd say the Giants, because I am an Eagles fan.
Oh. Oh God, that's worse than the Jets.
Well, yeah, at least you're right. At least you're not a Jets fan. That's all you got to say right there. They're in a bad place.
Yeah.
The next question is, I'm assuming you come from a huge Italian family. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
Do you guys have like a reunion of sorts? Because there's so many of you. Do you guys normally get together? Because my family is so big that we do it every Sunday before Labor Day. And we actually, we're at the point now where there's so many kids, we're about to start wearing name tags because we forget the names of the kids.
Well, the sad part is that my family, like, we all kind of started to scatter.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's not, we do get together once in a while, but it's not like it used to be. We all used to live in the same town relatively. Like, we all, like, literally both sides, my mom, my dad, everybody all relatively grew up in Belleville and Newark, New Jersey, like all that area. So we were all there. And then this one moved away. Then this one moved away. Then the kids started getting old. Then the kids had the kids. And then they all did their own thing. So it sucks. But we do try to get together a few times out of the year. So it's not the same, but it's relatively similar.
So everybody watching, if you want to follow Vicky on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, it's all right there below you. If you are interested in physical training with Vicky for Vicious Hustle Fitness, the website is down there at the bottom. It's Vicious Hustle Fitness website.com/dying to live/services. And I visited that website, and it's well designed. It's really easy to get whatever you're looking for, seniors, youth. It's all well organized, and she's ready to get you started.
Yeah, most definitely, man. And the coolest thing is that I did it all myself.
Yes.
And I have no doubt that you do that.
I do
everything that you do.
I don't have anybody working for me. I do everything myself. Everything you see is all me.
Yeah. So, Keith, you got any last questions for Vic?
I mean, I I think we've covered just about everything there.
Yeah, yeah,
We've been pretty thorough on this one.
yeah. She's a star in the making, guys. I'm telling you, I'm so
she
humble and
really
happy she spent some time with us and talked with us. I also, on behalf of Keith and myself and everybody on 2M1L Media, I want to wish you happy holidays.
Yes.
Merry Christmas to your family. Merry Christmas to Bailey.
Yeah.
Yes. Merry Christmas to your entire family and a happy new year. We cannot wait for 2021.
Me
and
too.
we are going to be following you, believe me. And I hope this isn't the last time we have a conversation. I hope that things happen. And there's no hope there. I know things will happen for you soon.
Yeah.
So when that does happen, I would love to have you back and see where you're going.
Absolutely. I really appreciate your time, and I had a blast. So again, 2021 will be a better year for all of us. Let's put it that way.
Now, do you have any events coming up that you want to let the audience know about?
As of right now, I don't. I do have things that I will be doing. Nothing really local. I know I'm going to be traveling quite a bit this year. This coming year. So that's all I know. I don't have tentative dates yet, none of that, but I know that I'm going to be quite all over the place the beginning of the 2021. So
one last thing. You I saw recently you do like virtual signings and things like that. You had one with the Dream Team recently.
Oh, yes. So 80s Wrestling Con, Tommy Fierro has been running that for quite a while. He's been running independent shows forever.
Oh yeah.
Amazing guy, one of my really, really good friends in the business. And he kind of recruited me to work with him because I've met him before, so I knew who he was, but he thought I'd be perfect to be like part of his virtual signings. And he has me do like the pre-show. So I introduce the guests. I introduce the Hall of Famers, the 80s wrestling, and then I give it over to the host. So I've got to meet some really cool people. So next show I think is in 2 weeks. We have Coco Beware, so that should be interesting.
Oh, that was my late my grandmother passed away several years ago, but that was her favorite. Coco Beware was her favorite.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's another thing just to add to my resume. It's promo work really, but I enjoy it.
It's gotta be cool though, right? I mean, to meet those guys.
It's awesome. It really is. So I'm grateful for sure that all the opportunities Tommy's given me. So
that's awesome. And one last thing, I heard you're a calendar girl too.
Yes. So Rat Rock Radio. I don't know if anyone's from Jersey, South Jersey. 95.9 FM. The Rat is a rock music station. It's my favorite radio station ever. I'm a rocker, so it was perfect. And I just stumbled across it one day. So I don't even remember how. And I already knew that they did that last year because my then boyfriend's father had a limo company, and he lent his limos last year to the photographers. So I knew that they did it, but I came across it and I'm like, I could do this. I'm like, who wouldn't vote for a hot pro wrestling rocker chick? Hello. So so out of 32 people, I made the top 12. So I'm in the calendar. Now I'm just holding my breath to see if I win cover.
You might be the cover.
So I don't think so. I think this other girl's going to get it. And that's not because I don't believe in myself, but she has tons of followers. She's beautiful. She's in a band. I was like, she's got it. I'm just going to be some month. So
come on, you're up against a rocker chick and a rock station calendar. You know what I mean? She's a rocker. She's a rocker chick.
I'm like, sounds like that was a little stacked.
Yeah, but you know what? That's cool. In the calendar, I get a portfolio of the pictures I took, so I can use that for modeling, wrestling, whatever.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
my pay, and I'm good with that. So, yeah,
that's awesome, Vicky. Keith, you got any parting gifts for Vicky?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so thankful you came on here. You shared some of our time with us. You shared your story with us.
Absolutely.
And one of the things I love that you're talking about in all this that I always say to people, and I say to wrestlers that come on here or just anybody in general, is when you see an opportunity, you seize it. And that's what everybody should be doing in life. When opportunity knocks, seize it, because you never know where it's going to take you.
Exactly. That's me. I'm always doing something. I make jokes to people. I'm like, I'm always doing something. I'm always working on something. I'm always editing something. I'm always behind the scenes for myself, just figuring out, okay, what's the next step? How can I get exposure? Okay, The other day I applied to The Voice. I'm like, I don't even sing that good. Like, I'll literally do anything because I just feel like I got to do something, you know. And I'm just.
I've never watched that show, but if you're on it, I will watch.
She's gonna be, she's gonna be famous. Keith, I'm telling you,
but not that good. Like, I'm not gonna get the record label. I'm sure they'll probably have to auto-tune me. Like,
you never know. You never know.
I'm like, screw it, man. Whatever. I'll do anything.
You never know, honestly. But man, you have been a delight. You've been a thrill. We wish you nothing but the best.
Likewise.
You don't need that from us because I'm telling you right now, you're going places.
Oh yeah, you're getting signed.
Yes, and so thank you so much for coming on Around the Turnbuckle.
Of course.
We wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and go get it, girl. Go get it.
Yes, thank you. Merry Christmas as well, and you too and your families. So
thank you.
Thank you,
Keith.
I'm telling you, a star in the making.
What do you think?
A star in the making.
One last item of business I gotta say. Around the Turnbuckle fans, I hope you enjoyed Vicious Vicky, the Garden State Goddess.
She represents all of New Jersey, and I endorse
all of New Jersey. That's correct. I neglected to mention that earlier. Please, please, please don't miss a moment of Around the Turnbuckle. You just might not know who's going to show up, all right? We just had the Garden State Goddess. We had Stevie Ray. I haven't given Keith his Christmas present yet.
We had Rudy Boy Gonzalez on.
We had Rudy Boy Gonzalez, and we're going to have a part 2.
And we're going to have a part 2, which I want all of our friends on the independent wrestling circuit, Triple WA, CCW, Valor, everywhere. If you are within the sound of my voice and you're an independent wrestler,
Urban Legend,
watch that show. We are going to be talking to Rudy Boy about being a trainer, being about what you need to do to get better. This show, I want this show, and I know Alan feels the same way. We want this show to be a resource for folks that are trying to get to that next level. We want to help you get to that next level because I'm seeing so much good wrestling out there. I'm seeing the antidote to what I feel is a national malaise and a situation nationally where I'm seeing so many people that don't get it, that don't understand it. And you guys could be the antidote to doing that. So I'm being a little selfish. I'm being a little bit of a selfish fan here by saying I'm going to help you, but I'm also going to help myself a little bit because I want to be able to watch national wrestling again and not feel like, oh God, what is this?
So I'm asking you all, please go subscribe to the 2M1L YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so that you can catch all our guests as soon as we go live. We got Rudy Boy Gonzalez. I have not yet given Keith his Christmas present yet, but his Christmas present is a guest that I booked, but I won't tell you yet. Okay. Second, this Sunday, tomorrow night on Around the Turnbuckle, we're coming right back here at 6 o'clock with Bulletproof Dorian Black, Keith, 7 foot tall. Not only a roommate of Prince Shango, but I mean, his mere presence just frightens me. I hope we don't piss him off.
7 foot tall. Does Vince McMahon know he's alive yet? Because all he needs is for Vince McMahon to know he's alive and he's signed. What? 7 foot tall? He's huge. Get him a contract.
AJ says that Legend retired. He's a bodybuilder now. Prince Shango scared him out of the business.
Maybe. I think Legend might have a thing or two to say about that.
Oh, believe me, Legend's got a thing or so. We got Bulletproof, Dorian Black. Speaking of Urban Legend, he is on tomorrow night on Cipher Knowledge with Chrissy at 8 o'clock because he is also he is a wrestler, he's a bodybuilder, but he's also a motivational speaker, Keith.
That's what I love about our guests too, is our guests, and this is what I love about wrestlers in general. Mm-hmm. And I hope this is coming through to, because I hope we're getting some casual people here too. I hope we're getting some non-wrestling fans here. And what we're educating you to is pro wrestlers are not just one thing. They're very layered people. And they do a unique,
like Shrek.
Right. And they do a unique art form you just compare that? Who are you comparing to Shrek? All of them?
Well, no, they're like onions. They have layers.
Yeah, okay. It's weird. It's a weird segue to interrupt me with. But I mean, these are diverse people with diverse interests. There's just so much here, and that's the fun of doing this show. It really is learning about these folks, learning about what they're about, and just being able to have fun with something we all love for an hour, 2 hours every week.
Absolutely. And so that is Sunday night, Urban Legend on Cipher Knowledge with Chrissy at 8 o'clock, right after our interview with the 7-foot-tall, bulletproof Dorian Black. On Tuesday, it's Home Team Sports, our jersey giveaway. On Wednesday, it's Spittin' with Spitter with TJ Spitter. And that is the day before Christmas Eve. And then we're going on a little break, Keith. There will not be an Around the Turnbuckle on the weekend of the 26th and 27th. And also there will not be a Ciphered Knowledge with Chrissy that weekend. Now, TJ, however, is going to do a Spittin' with Spitter end of the year program, I believe, that week, that Wednesday, right before the end of the year, which is, I believe, is the 30th, give or take. But anyway, he's going to end of the year.
Yeah, no, that's the 30th, dead on. I just looked at my calendar. Yeah, I'm old. Have
you not been listening? I mentioned at Home Sports, we have 5 trivia questions. Answer one of those 5. You get on the wheel. We're going to spin it at the end of the show, and Chris Vant, most likely, is going to win.
You spin? You're doing spin the wheel, make the deal?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to tie it back to wrestling. Because otherwise, it just seems like this is a double elimination, quadruple elimination tournament where you advance to the finals, and then somewhere along the way, you're going to put the jersey on a pole. I don't know.
No, not doing that. So, get your asses over to M1L Media and subscribe, and you will catch all of that content and more come our next seasons in January. We got tons of guests coming up. You never know who's going to show up on Around the Turnbuckle. And with that,
we got international guests coming. We're going international next year.
Yes. We're going world, Keith. And with that,
we're going national. So what's the next thing to do but to go worldwide?
We're going global, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we'll see you next time on Around the Turnbuckle.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you gonna do, brother? Oh yeah! Woo! What? If you smell what the rock